Can we all now finally agree that not everybody belongs in a wrestling ring? Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin Zwicker from Fast Count coming at you. And before I get into this video, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. So, coming out of this weekend, one of the big talking points that is, circulating the world of professional wrestling is the tragic event that took place at an indie show between Raja Jackson, Rampage Jackson's son, and Psycho Stu. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Rampage Jackson's son, Raja, just completely went ham and hit over 20 UFC ground and pound style punches to independent wrestler Psycho Stu, and just completely, an uncalled for, just after, shot after shot after shot, while the guy was already knocked out, just kept going and going. And thankfully, he's still with us. We're getting updates from his friends and family saying that he is awake and he can remember bits and pieces of that day. But when you really sit down and you think about this, right? And I'm not saying this to try to come across as cold. I'm just saying, what I think needs to be said. And that is the fact that it is shocking that it's taken this long for something like this to happen, right? Celebrity involvement, whether it's actors or performers or, musicians or athletes, we have seen celebrity involvement happen throughout the years, whether it's on the grand stages of WWE or AEW or the indies. It's something that has been occurring in professional wrestling for so long. And you've had guys, like Mike Tyson and, Lawrence Taylor, who are known to be loose cannons. And, it feels as if, there's been multiple different times where we've been playing with fire, when it comes to wrestling and athletes. And the fact that now it's an incident like this has occurred, I think it really should come across to the world of professional wrestling that this is a wake-up call, right? Not everybody, understands the terms, work or shoot or, receipt. All these different things that some of us use and know because we're fans and we're got people who are deep into this stuff. Not everybody knows what these things mean, right? If you guys don't know the backstory, Raja and Rampage are guys who like to live stream stuff constantly, and every single thing that occurred on that day was on Raja's live stream, right? So this guy, whether he wants to argue, that this wasn't something premeditated or anything like that, when it comes to something that involves the law and what's going to occur after, he's pretty much screwed, right? Because it's right there for the world to see. So apparently, he was surrounded by these wrestlers in the back. Psycho Stu, he hit Raja in the head with a beer can. He told him, are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to sell it? I guess, Stu, he assumed that Raja was a wrestler. And after he was told that he wasn't, he apologized multiple different times, explained that he didn't know, offered a handshake. Raja didn't want to accept it. And as soon as somebody told him that, he could get a receipt and he can be involved in Stu's matches later on, then that's when Raja sat there and shook his hand. And we saw what took place in that ring. Now, I don't think that the guy knew what receipt meant. I don't think that the guy knew, all of these different things, all these different wrestler vernaculars and, what that exactly meant. And you also got to think, especially with athletes, these guys get embarrassed very easily. The ego can be very fragile with these guys. They're very macho, very alpha male type, right? And for all these things to be occurring when it's live streamed, you got thousands and thousands of people watching it. So, obviously I'd be assuming that his pride was bruised, and that's something that caused what went down. Well, it was one of the factors that caused what went down in the ring, but it doesn't matter. That is sick, irresponsible, stupid, and anybody who was there hyping him up and getting in his head, knowing that he's not somebody who is a wrestler and knows the world, because I feel like a lot of times, especially people who are actually in the wrestling business, they kind of live in a bubble and they don't really think like how people on the outside think. And that kind of blurs the lines when it comes to their interactions with people on the outside, to where things just sometimes get lost in translation. But it's a tragic event. I hope that, anytime in the future, when we're having these athletes or performers involved in professional wrestling, events and shows that they're vetted extremely thorough, to avoid something like this to possibly happen in the future. And just pray for Stu. The guy just was involved in something that shouldn't have happened in the first place, and it's disgusting. And whatever happens to Raja now, it's of his own doing. Hey, you can't do what he did and think that it's okay and not expect consequences to occur afterwards, right? But hey, what do you guys think in the comment section? Let me know. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe. Guys, we are less than 15 subs away from 3,000. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated on my end. I am Kevin Zwicker.